Hello, I am so excited that you have come here to learn about what it is a ADHD coach does, or you want to learn about our program Accomplish with Ease. So, I have decided to pull an excerpt for an amazing podcast episode I did that was actually requested by one of my listeners to talk about what ADHD coaching is. So, I have listened to the end. I talk about that, and then at the very end of the episode, I go over what exactly accomplished with ease is and what we can provide for you. If you're okay with what knowing what a coach is and you know how it helps us, just go ahead to skip to the end, okay? But if you want to learn what exactly is a coach and how can Dr. Lola really help me, listen to the first half of the podcast episode, and then I'm gonna come in at the very end where I talk about how we can help you. See you soon. Welcome to Lollietasking with ADHD. I am your host, Dr. Lola, a multi-passionate mom of three, a physician, and an ADHD life coach because, like most of you amazing women listening, I have ADHD. Join me as we chat about how ADHD affects our lives and learn strategies to help us all thrive, not just survive, with ADHD so we can live the life we want while accomplishing all our goals. Let's get started. So, as a new cohort of my group that I have in April starts, I've been talking more about people, or more to people, I should say. And one of the biggest questions people ask me is, like, what exactly and how exactly does an ADHD coach help me? And what is an ADHD coach? And I thought it would be a very interesting episode just to put it out there. I was in a group the other day and I just had like a Q&A to talk about it. And it's one of those things that when you're in it, you just assume everybody knows about it or even understands it, even if they know about it. And I just wanted to kind of give you guys what an ADHD coach does and how it can help you and why it's important for you to get an ADHD coach, okay? So, I don't know why I'm saying so many times today. Oh, another thing with me is that I have horrible allergies. So, if you hear me sound congested, I literally am. Like, I've taken all kind of allergy medicines and it is what it is. Pollen here is crazy, okay? So, let's get back. So most of you know that I help women by helping them navigate life, right? I help their brain do what they want their brain to do. Because we know with ADHD, life is so um can be so hard. Let's just keep it real. Let's keep it funky. Life can be really hard with ADHD. So I come in and help you make life just a little bit easier. Um so let's start. What is ADHD life coach and how can I help you? So before we even get started is what is ADHD life coach? The question is what exactly is a life coach, right? People assume a life coach is not just someone that gives advice, right? A life coach is, just to break it down to the most simplest form of what life coaching is. A life coach is simply someone who takes you from where you are in life and where you want to be, okay? One of the best analogy I've heard about this, and I didn't make this up, is life think of life coaching like riding a bike, okay? Life coach is like, okay, so for example, let's say you want to learn to ride a bike, or when your parents were teaching you to ride a bike, like you didn't really understand balancing act, they held the seat of the bike, or they gave you training wheels. A life coach is that person who stands by you and guides you and does it with you. They're not riding a bike with you, they're with you through the journey, right? So another thing people confuse with life coaches, like they think like how is it even different from therapy? Like when I tell people maybe you need a ADHD coach, the next thing I hear is, but I'm in therapy. It's actually a little bit different, right? Life coach is not therapy at all. Therapy helps you overcome the past in treating the future. So how does that relate to riding a bike? So a therapist would be like, oh, You are scared on getting on the bike and riding because you fell in the past, or anytime you try to ride a bike in the past, you had someone yell at you. So let's unpack that, right? And figure that out. That way you can have the empowerment to be able to get back on the bike, right? That's therapy. um an advisor or consultant, they will tell you how to ride a bike by giving you maybe like a manual, right? They'll give you a manual and they'll say, for you to ride a bike, the first thing you do is sit on the seat, and then you try to balance, and then you put your leg on the pedal, and then you ride. That's a consultant, right? A coach collaborates with you. Okay, so a coach is like, you are on the bike, and sometimes they may hold the bike seat so you don't fall, like I said earlier, and sometimes they may suggest using training wheels. But the goal at the end of the day is to be with you every time. As you fall, they help pick you back up, right? As you wobble and you're about to fall, they help stabilize you. As you ride a little bit and fall, they again come back and give you adjustments. So maybe start this way, maybe not use this shoe, maybe we should try a flat surface, right? So that's what a coach does, because for them, at the end of the day, their goal is you are able to ride the bike on your own, right? We do not care how long it would take you to fall. It may be a month, it may be a year, but the goal at the end of the day is, with each fall, you learn something about yourself that will help you better riding your bike. Does that make sense to you guys? Like, I feel like that analogy just like clicked when I heard that. And I was like, I got to do this. Okay. So that's life coach overall. So, what is ADHD life coach? An ADHD life coach is someone who takes you where you are in your ADHD journey, wherever you are. It may be diagnosis, it may be that you've had it for a while and you're struggling with emotional dysregulation, or planning, or whatever, or everything, right? They take you from wherever you are into your ADHD, and they help you navigate your ADHD. That way you can navigate life, right? So they help you come up with strategies collaboratively, right? They're not riding the bike for you. You still have to do the work, but they're guiding you so it is so much easier for you. And they're bringing their life experience into it. They're bringing their awareness of ADHD into it. They're bringing their strategies, the tips, the collaboration, and then you also have that person that understands you without judgment and can help you figure out your ADHD, okay? So, and so that's what an ADHD life coach does. But who is an ADHD life coach, right? An ADHD life coach is a trained professional, underline the word trained, who helps you navigate life with awareness of your ADHD brain type and wiring so you can be successful in what you need to be, whatever it is you need to be. But I said underline the word trained because a regular life coach really does not understand ADHD unless they've gone through training or they themselves have ADHD. Because there are subtle things that a regular life coach would expect you to do. But because of your ADHD, it just does not make sense that they would expect you to do that, right? But it takes an ADHD trained life coach who understands your brain wiring to be able to give it the leeway and to be able to understand that you just saying you're going to do this at this time is not going to work, right? To be able to understand that we tend to overcommit, right? So maybe we should break down that goal a little bit smaller. That way it's easier to achieve. Excuse me, guys. So, next question is, how can an ADHD coach help me? Mind you, these are questions people email to me, and I'm just like replying it, okay? So, how can an ADHD coach help you? I've always said, even though I'm a physician and I believe medication is actually quite important in the treatment of ADHD, The management of ADHD needs to be holistic. You know, medication helps you increase dopamine in your synapse and helps you focus, but it does not teach you the executive function that you need to thrive in this world. You know, I say this all the time. Like, think of us as we are left handed people in a right hand world. Remember, I remember when I was in high school, I think it's still like that. The left-handed people had their own desk because the way our desk was made was so that you can rest your arm on the right side, right? So you can imagine if you're left-handed while you're writing, you don't have somewhere to rest your hand on. So they had like maybe one or two left-handed desks. They had a few left-handed scissors, right? But most things in this world are made for right handed people. So a left handed person has to adjust, right, in the world. And to be honest, most of us right handed people don't even think about y'all left handed people. And that's the fact of life. So when we're creating things, we're not even thinking about the left handed people. If you think about ADHD, it's the same thing. We have a unique brain wiring that has the ability to focus on every and everything, and it's different for us to distinguish the most important things that we need to focus on. So we just do. And most people in the world are just not like that. So you need the skills and the strategy, right? For example, someone who's left-handed needs to learn how to cut a scissors like a right-handed person or as much like a right-handed person if there's no left-hand scissors, right? They need to learn how to write if there's no left-hand table, right? So that skills still need to be taught, even if there was a medicine that maybe helps them be able to focus a little bit. So they help you with discover your ADHD at the end of the day. Okay? An ADHD coach helps you with discover your ADHD, which is the first milestone that we actually have in our program. Besides teaching the skills, you need to actually understand what ADHD is. It's not just you being not able to focus on the things you want to focus on. At this point in time, it's hard for you to do a lot of things sometimes because it almost seems like you're walking around with foggy glasses on or driving with rain on your windshield. You know, while you can do it, you're more prone to accidents when you can't see clearly, when you don't know your pitfalls, you don't know the things that's going to help you, you don't know your, what color your kryptonites, right? And you don't know your superpower, you don't know where you thrive, you don't know, where you don't thrive at, so you can avoid this. ADHD is so much more than being hyperactive and multi-focus ability. Yes, I made that word up. Because we have multi-focus, right? We're always focused on everything. That's our problem. You know, ADHD is time blindness, ADHD is emotional dysregulation, ADHD is overcommitment, ADHD is being a social justice warrior, ADHD is interrupting, ADHD is all those things. So an ADHD coach helps you learn how to live with it by helping you with together, mind you, coming up with strategies that help you and your unique situation. Because everybody's ADHD is not the same. Okay? They also help you thrive with your ADHD by keeping you accountable so those skills that you've learned, you could gradually you could continue learning them, right? And perfecting them or improving them is what I meant to say, not perfecting them. That way it can become a habit. Because once it becomes a habit, then you don't really have to think about it anymore. That way you could actually start living life in spite of your ADHD instead of because of your ADHD. Okay? So that's who we are, and that's the whole purpose of coaching with ADHD. And I tell my clients all the time, my goal is to coach you so well that you don't need me anymore. Right? And what do I mean by you don't need me anymore? It doesn't mean you would never need an ADHD coach, but I want to teach you the skills that you need to thrive for yourself. That way you could coach yourself. right? So that's what all ADHD coaches want, and that's all what all ADHD coaches would want you to do. They want you to ride your bike by yourself. They don't want to keep holding the backseat of the bike or using training wheels all the time. They want to see you succeed, but it's up to you to actually ride the bike, right? It's fun. It's so much fun, okay? So some other questions people have asked me, what evidence is there that coaching works? There's actually a lot of research out there that shows that medication combined with coaching is the most effective way to manage ADHD. Because I say this all the time, pills don't teach skills. You need the pills to increase the dopamine, but you need to learn the skill for your brain type. Because the world does not have an environment for your brain type, you need to learn the skills to help your brain type. Okay? How is ADHD different from therapy? We kind of talked about that earlier, but I'll go a little bit. In general, therapists facilitate healing, and ADHD coaches facilitate action. That was the easiest definition I saw, and it totally makes sense. Therapist looks at your past to so that you can heal, because if you don't heal you can't move forward. That way you could actually work towards the present and the future. ADHD wants usually would you can even have ADHD with therapy, right? Because therapy is important. Because for example, if you're depressed, there's nothing your ADHD coach can do that would be successful if you have significant depression, because that alone prevents you from being able to take action. So, an ADHD coach helps you from where you are right now, facilitates the actually doing things. That way you can move to the future. Okay. Uh, Next question. Anyone can be a coach and is not regulated. Um, yes and no. Listen, anyone can be an astronaut too, right? But the question is, have they gone through astronaut school? Have they, if there's something like that, right? The question is, have you done what you need to do to become a coach? Anybody can call themselves anything. There's actually a gold standard through the International Coach Federation, and they're like the leader global organization, and they're dedicated to setting really high standard, and they also provide certification for trained coach. So I think, and there's something else also called PACS, that's for ADHD specific coaches. I honestly believe that yes, most professional coaches are okay. Like, anybody can quote unquote be a coach. But to be an ADHD coach, I really do think it's important to like go to an accredited program that teaches you the right way of coaching. Because if you don't know what you're doing, you can actually cause more harm on people with ADHD than not, right? So if you're right now here and you're thinking, I want to get a coach, I would recommend thinking about people who have actually trained in those schools. It's totally okay. All right. Um, and not just life coaching, right? Just make sure that they had some ADHD specific training to help augment their life coaching. My ADHD is okay and I'm surviving with it. Do I still need coaching? Yes, because you need to thrive with your ADHD and not just survive. Coaching is not just for people that can't get things done, it's to help you get to your better version of yourself. And I really do think that we should always strive to be better in whatever it is we do. Like it is not okay to stay at status quo, right? If we're not evolving and if we're not improving, then what is living, right? So that's that. This question was so much fun. Was funny. She said, "Dr. Lola, I'm a man." Or someone else said, "I'm a child who has ADHD. I'd love to join your program, but it seems that you've segregated a man for your program. How can I find an ADHD coach Um, so for men and for children, if you want to get your children coaches, I recommend you go to ADHD coaching organization online. There's also an attitude directory you can go to try to find ADHD certified coaching. You could also DM me. I have some friends I could refer you to. But if you're a woman, I recommend you join Accomplish with Ease, which is our program, our membership coaching program for women with ADHD. Are you trained, Dr. Lola? Yes. My professional training is through a coaching program called ADCA, ADD Coach Academy. ADCA is one of the leading training programs in the country. A lot of people who train me in the program are actually lifetime professional coaches, and some of them were in the inception of ADHD. I mean, of ADHD, inception of coaching as a profession. So it's an amazing program. Like even with all the medical knowledge I had, I thought it was an amazing supplemental thing I needed to do to help me understand what ADHD coaching truly is. So what I do is I bring my knowledge, my best practices, my experience, my professional experience, and I bring all that in enabling you to live the life that you really want in life. I look forward to working with you. Okay. So, yeah, just shout out at me. And then this next one goes, I listen to your podcast, but I need more. How else can you help me? Okay, so like I said earlier, I have a group program that is starting actually next week. If you're listening to this in the future, still click the link. We may either have a waiting list or it may be open when you're listening. Click the link in the descriptions below where in our program, I walk you through discovering your ADHD and living with your ADHD and finally thriving with your ADHD. In the program, we also have like weekly coaching sessions, weekly strategy sessions. I do a quick review of like I teach you like what ADHD is all about. So I do like weekly reviews about that. And then you have like one thing you have to do for yourself, you know. We have accountability coaches. We pair you with what I call LT squads. Yeah, like it's amazing. So our program combines what I call the ADHD success formula. What it does is we combine the awareness of ADHD, which is the content I teach you, all the little nuances of ADHD. That way you can see clearly. Um, and it combines coaching and accountability and community, right? Because you need like minded people you can vent with and talk with, and they just understand you. So if you think you are ready to move from where you are to where you want to be, you're tired of always complaining about your ADHD, and you want to live life in spite of your ADHD, go ahead and click the link below and join us. Coaching is expensive. How can I get it cheaper? Okay, I hear this all the time. Yes, most good coaches can be expensive, but try discussing a payment plan. Don't just give up on yourself. Maybe start with group coaching, like in our program. You can always upgrade to one-on-one coaching, and people do that also in my program. They start with group coaching, and they're like, actually, I think now I have the financial ability to do one-on-one, and that works better for me. Then you could do that. But then I also have people who thought they wanted one-on-one, but only group was available. And then by the time they got into group coaching, they actually realized that was better for them, you know? And the thing with group coaching is even if I'm not coaching you and I'm coaching somebody else, a lot of times we have similar issues. So you're still learning from it, right? So it's very important. And then another thing I want you to think about is like be resourceful, right? If you had issues at work, could you use some kind of work educational allowance to pay for this? If you're in medicine, could you consider using a CME money, right? A continuing medical education money. I mean, there are ways you can come about it. I always tell people all the time, I worry about money, but the most important currency or the most expensive currency for people with ADHD is focus and time, you know? So you have to find a way to be able to invest in yourself so you can have better focus and you can be able to maximize your time effectively. You know, it doesn't hurt to ask people for a payment plan. Like I already did this in my program. I just went ahead and do a monthly payment plan for people because not everybody can afford to just drop that, big amount at once. But at least if you're doing a payment plan, you could get in the program, you could start, and we could help you. You know, that way you're not sitting on, I don't have money, I don't have money. Whereas if you had started, you would have saved a lot of money by being focused, being able to avoid the quote unquote ADHD tax, right? You know, I see coaching as an investment in yourself. Give yourself a time frame for the return of your investment. I always recommend not less than 3 months, but maybe give yourself 6 months, give yourself a year, and see if the investment you're doing is actually working for you. Okay? So I invite you today, if you are a woman ready to thrive with your ADHD, this is the time to join our program because every quarter I start again. I start afresh. And next restart will not be till July. So join us and Accomplish with Ease. There'll be a link in the bio. We'll love, 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 love to have you with us. Okay? So I'm going to end with our quote of the day, guys. So ADHD quotes. Strength does not come from winning. Your struggles develop your strength. When you go through hardships and decide not to surrender, that is strength. And this quote was written by Gandhi himself, okay? So, what does that mean? That means do not give up on you and your ADHD. There's help out there, okay? If you need to take medication, please do. However, it is very important you combine it with coaching that can get you from point A to point B. So, and that's it for all the questions. Thank you guys for all the questions you've been asking me. I hope I was able to explain what coaching is and how they can help you. All right, I am back. I hope I was able to explain to you what coaching is and how coaching helps your ADHD. So I thought I'd just go through like what exactly does Accomplish with Ease have to offer for you. For those of you that don't know me, again, my name is Dr. Lola. I'm a mom of three. I am a physician, a pediatric cardiologist to be specific. I have ADHD. I've had it all my life. And I have been thriving with it recently. There's been time when things were hard, but you can look, if you go to my podcast, you can look at episode 1 and it talks all about my story. But for why we are here today, I'm also an executive function and ADHD life coach. What that means is I am a life coach and I got an extra certification in ADHD, and I got it through a company called, a coaching school called ADCA, ADD Coaching Academy, which is one of the top coaching schools in the US. It's fantastic. If you're interested in doing coaching, that's what I would recommend personally. So the reason why I started my program was because I saw so many amazing women just give up on their potential because of their ADHD. So I decided to start Accomplish with Ease because it's not that we're not doing it, but we're doing it so hard. Like we have to do everything 10 times harder than everybody else we know. And it's not fair, right? It's not fair. So that's basically it. The program is, people ask, is it a 2 weeks program? So it's a program, right? As the program starts right now, we all know you cannot solve ADHD in 6 weeks. So I have done it in a way where once you get in, you're locked in, right? At least for now, once you get in, it's the price is the price you pay. It's supposed to be yearly pricing, but the first 100 people that sign up from now on is going to get the program for life, because to be honest, I'm going to be real with you guys. I'm trying to get more people in our program, and I just want to grow the community really fast, and after the 100%, then it will go back to the yearly that we used to do. um so what did I want to tell you? So I talk about in my program, the most important way, I call it the ADHD success strategy. The most important way to deal with your ADHD is to work on your mindset, be aware of all the things um that ADHD can present in your life. ADHD proven strategies, right? Because not all strategies are made for us. And you need the coaching, you need accountability, and you need support. So I created this program that has everything in there. You get the strategies with the content, you get weekly coaching or masterclass, you get accountability via the LT squad. So basically you have a group of people who are like you, who you guys plan together weekly. We do a monthly planning session together. Every Monday morning we plan our week together. We have a community of amazing women. So it's just in there. And we have made this program so easy for you so you can thrive. Okay. So that's why I call it Accomplish with Ease. So what do we work on? The first thing we work on is our mindset. I call it the air. I talk about so many different things to help you change that diagnosis, change how we see the diagnosis, and how we can combat ADHD from a positive psychologist standpoint. I use a lot of research studies on the best way to change behavior and ADHD, so we use that a lot in our program to help you get there. I create structures, I give you blueprints you can use. And I call that the water, right? Water carries you everywhere. So the structure helps you, it kind of leads you. It's your GPS. And then the community and the accountability is the sun, right? Sunlight helps you grow and thrive. So you need air, you need water, and you need the sunlight, okay? So what exactly does the program entail? The first part is foundation. The foundation is the content, okay? We have 3 milestones you have to meet in the content. The first milestone is discovering your ADHD. The second milestone is living with your ADHD. And the third milestone is now thriving with your ADHD. In discovering your ADHD, we talk about awareness and seeing how you, it's kind of like the introduction. We talk about how you activate and start with ADHD. We talk about how you move with ADHD and how you can be wholesome with ADHD, memory issues, focus. And then when we get to thriving part, we talk about how we can control our emotions with ADHD, how energy is everything, how environment helps you thrive with ADHD, and how to continue to evaluate yourself. That way, we can basically thrive with our ADHD, okay? So after that day, we have the coaching and the strategy session. The coaching and the strategy session is a weekly session that we do, where we review what we've been teaching ourselves through the week, and then I go through a strategy or mindset tip, and then we just coach. I coach you on whatever it is that you're working on or you need help with, and we come up with accountability plan that you will do and how you make sure that happens, okay? And then once a month I also bring a guest speaker that comes and speak to us, and we create like a master class. And we it's so amazing. We have guest speakers that help us. How do you do with finances and ADHD? Well, we brought Lisa Woodruff in from Organized 365 to help us talk about organization and ADHD. It's just amazing, okay? You can see I'm so excited. I love this program and I believe in it. And that's why I want you to join us. Um, So what else do we provide? You have accountability to the LT squad. You have structure, right? So structure gives you continued support, helps you create habits. That way you don't have to think about things. We have support. We have member focus sessions where we do double body doubling at least once a week. Where on Mondays where we plan, and then you have that time to work together. You can also meet with your LT squad to have a body doubling session. We give you daily simple strategies in the community. And even though our strategy session is weekly, we're always here for you to contact us. You leave a message, and within 24 hours, we answer you. Okay? So that's really the base of Accomplish with Ease. So Accomplish with Ease is basically an all-in-one program that provides weekly coaching, strategies, community, accountability. Okay, I teach you to maximize your effort and focus on what matters, so you can up-level yourself to the better version of yourself that I know is inside. If only you had the appropriate ways and management and coaching, you can do it. I don't want you to give up on yourself, okay? I want you to go join the other ladies that we're going to go through learning, growing, and transformation to get to where we need to be, okay? All our stuff are ADHD specific high performance principles that are research based. Everything I do is evidence based and research based. You have mindset shift, productivity, time management, all of that for you. Okay. So, what else do you get? Oh, I forgot. The most important thing you get in the program, you also have the ability to create your own, I call it the boom, your own personal brain operating manual, right? As you learn it through this, I recommend you write it down and you put it in, and by the end of the 10 weeks or 12 weeks or 3 months or however time it's going to take you to finish the program, you have plans for what you need to do with your ADHD. Okay, so let's recap. So the first part, you get Level Up to You 2.0, right? Which is the ADHD course that teach you how to discover your ADHD, live with your ADHD, and then thrive with your ADHD. Okay, and one of the things you can do with your LT Squad too is you guys can come up with weekly things together, so you guys can actually go through the course together. Each course is like each module or lesson is like 10 minutes long, right? 15 minutes max. That long at all, right? But I give you those important things that are necessary for the foundation, okay? You get your ADHD life book. You do your weekly coaching and strategy session. You have your monthly masterclass with experts, right? You have your what else? What else? I'm like so excited. You get your book guide, you get support, you get time for double doubling, you get time for planning, like you get everything. Again, it's a one-stop shop to help you thrive. So what are you waiting for? I really want you to join us. I can't wait till you join us, right? Because at the end of the day, you have to invest in you. Nothing in life comes to you without actually either investing your time, investing your money, or investing yourself, right? You have to invest in you. And I truly, truly believe that if you invest in your life today, you can thrive with your ADHD and accomplish any goals you want to, right? It's not, I'm not going to sit out here and say, oh, if you join us in 10 weeks, no. It's something we have to continually work on. But the most important thing is I will be by your side. And once you fall off that bike, I will help you get back on. And I will not give up on you. That is one thing people in my program would tell you. Dr. Lola does not give up on us. And slowly but surely, you start to see there's truly light at the end of the tunnel. So go ahead and click below, join us, and so we can start accomplishing our goals with ease.